Hello YouTube, welcome to the channel. So today we're going to take a look at a few really cool knives. This one has already been reviewed briefly with an unboxing from Salzwedel knives. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Salzwedel knives. I'm actually going to phone Duane and ask him how do you say that before he shouts at me. And yeah, these are great knives, great quality, great price point. Look, they're not a 200 Rand knife, but in so saying they're worth a whole lot more than what I feel they are costed at. So I really enjoy using these as sort of working knives for me in the bush, etc. And I think that these two are going to become my sort of staple go-to bushcraft outdoors sort of knives in place of your traditional Morakniv. And you can see where I'm heading here with a size-wise sort of indication between the Mora and this first knife that I've received. So this one here is a really cool, it's a full flat grind. It's a really nice knife, a bit thin, but still very practical. It's made out of 440C stainless steel and really decent wooden handles. As I said, this has been reviewed on the channel before. And then the one that made me think about this more as sort of a outdoor blade is actually this newly acquired one, this one over here. And for me, this one here feels more in line with like, as an example, I would compare this to, and this is still going to be reviewed, this is a high carbon steel. It's a bit thicker on the spine, as you can see, but for me this knife here would actually replace my BK16, Becker BK16. And to be honest with you, it's an extremely comfortable, extremely nice knife. I think the review of this thing is going to speak for itself. It's got a nice slicey belly on it. Just everything about this knife is really cool. It's got quite a thick spine on it, giving it quite a bit of strength. And then again, there's beautiful wooden handles, or scales I should say. Really cool knife. Let's get in a little bit closer and discuss this in a little bit more detail. So traditionally, for those starting out with sort of bushcraft, they head in the direction of the Morakniv or the Mora because of the Scandi grind. Don't get me wrong, Scandi grind is a brilliant thing. However, I find generally outdoors I would use something from Becker called the BK16. Now, BK16 is a bit more of a compact from the usual sort of, I've got the BK2, which is my sort of survival knife. I use the SE5 and a couple of other big blades, but sometimes you just want something practical for light sort of bush duties. Now, to be honest with you, any of these would actually be able to perform the task. Just to give you an idea, this is the thinner one out of the 440 stainless, and you can see it's pretty much on par with this Mora in the width department. It's got a bit more of a slicey belly, and it's a flat grind as opposed to the Scandi grind. But it's still an extremely capable knife, in my opinion. So when this new one came today, I saw this and I thought, wow, this is actually right up my alley. It's got a thicker carbon steel spine, so it's a bit stronger. As you can see, it's going to have a very decent strength to it. It's also quite slicey, a little bit shorter, but still very slicey. And again, that brilliant, nice sort of wooden scales on it. I really think this knife is going to stand out for me as my go-to sort of bush camp knife when I'm out and about in the field. I'm even thinking of putting this onto a lanyard around my neck and carrying it as a neck knife when I'm doing my hikes, etc. And then I could have my BK2 or my larger knives on my side or in my pack. This thing here would take care of probably 90% of the tasks that I would want to accomplish in the outdoors. Now, I have asked the maker of these knives to also start quoting me on some custom knives, but it's just interesting to see the workmanship and how these beautiful knives can actually fill the roles of something like a BK16. I mean, this thing here, in my opinion, is almost a direct competitor for the Becker BK16. So, and I just prefer it. It's a lovely knife, it feels great, and I'm going to really enjoy using this. So let's just conclude what my thoughts are on these knives over here. So just some conclusions around these knives. Yes, this model here is a little bit thinner, this model carbon steel is a bit thicker. This one is actually a really nice sort of bushcraft style knife in my opinion. I do have Scandi grind knives such as the Moras and stuff. However, this one here is actually going to replace my K-Bar Becker BK16 in my loadouts for outdoor trips, etc. Hence the reason why I've added this sort of a loop on it so that I can throw it around my neck and carry it neck carry. I'll show you guys now what that looks like, and it's actually very comfortable to carry like that. This one could also fill the gap. This one is a bit bigger, but for me, this knife here, I would say it's definitely strong enough, but this is a really cool sort of general purpose around the campfire knife, various things actually. So it can also fill in that space, but there's just something about this one here for that slot. So this knife, I'll probably put it in my kit with my Brian kits, etc. And this knife here is moving into that rotation for my sort of outdoor. It's just a little bit dusty at the moment. I've been testing it on some wood. So this will become my replacement for that BK16, and it'll become my neck carry when I'm doing day hikes and light stuff. I'll show you guys now what that looks like. Hey guys, me back on camera. So this is pretty much how I would be carrying that out and about. Getting access to it is very easy for when you want to do some whittling or any sort of bushcraft style tasks. It's comfortable to carry like this. You don't need to take up a slot on your belt or on your bag or whatever the case may be. So it does make it really cool and a nice way to keep this knife close at hand. Obviously you can access it at different levels for different things, whatever the case may be. This is just a bit of black paracord. Of course you could do it any which way you like, and as you can see, it's just looped through the belt loop over there, and there you have it. I hardly feel this knife around my neck, so it's definitely comfortable and definitely something worthwhile. So Duane, thank you for this knife. I'm really enjoying it. And for those looking at K-Bar Becker BK16s and the likes, check out this blade. It could definitely fill in that gap for you. And something of interest, these can be had for a hell of a lot cheaper than the BK16. Cheers for now, everybody.